how things are gonna go today. I want to work on this boss fight, and there's some noises in the background. I'll talk about that in a moment because I kind of like gotta finish up a grind before I log off of RuneScape. But for now, I just want to show you the monstrosity that we're going to be reworking today first. Where is... There we are. My PC is a little slow. So we have this monstrosity of a behavior tree, which is kind of like the same subtree with different values 3 different times. And that is a little bit of a mess. I don't like the way that it works. So we're going to kind of merge this all together in just one of these and make them behave a little bit more intelligently. But before we do that, I'm kind of like on a Slayer task in RuneScape, and I'm doing a boss, and I only need to kill him 4 more times. And I really don't want to just like walk out of this room to have to walk back into it, which is a pain in the ass to do just for 4 more kills. So we're gonna just kind of like do that on the side at the start of the stream here, and then once I've finished those 4 kills, I'll close down the game. But I really would prefer not to have to like walk back into this room, because again, it's a pain, and it's not that big a deal, right? We just like do that, we wait like 20 seconds for this thing to die, and then we wait a minute and a half for him to respawn, and we do that like 4 times. So we can do that a little bit in the background over the next like 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll have our full attention back in Unreal Engine. Anybody clicking onto the stream right now is going to be confused as hell, though. So there's that. Then again, people are just like kind of... There's already a lot of people in here, actually. There was like 5 people waiting for the stream to start, which I think is like a record for our purposes. Okay, so you see how quickly we can kill that thing, and then we just make inventory room, we pick up the bones, and then we just go stand over here, and we do that 3 more times. We're safe over there. So the way that we're going to do this instead for... where did I put this? I think in... not in player, surely. In enemies. Now we have characters, bosses... Reaper. So this is the behavior tree for the Reaper boss, which actually has more complicated behavior to begin with, right? And this is kind of the thing that we're going to go for. We coded this update boss info thing last time, and I'm trying to see if I can like open this in C++ somehow to show you what it does. Maybe we can't. Wait, I heard a sound effect there. Okay, never mind. I guess we'll just try to find it here, maybe? I still have a little bit of a cough. This is one of the things. Whenever I get sick, I get better pretty quickly. I don't tend to get like super sick, and when I do, it's only for like a handful of days. But then whenever I get sick, I maintain a cough for like 2 months. Which is really annoying, especially since like doing like this whole YouTube thing involves me talking quite a lot. And in videos, I can just cut that out. In live streams, you guys kind of just have to deal with that. So where is the update boss info class? I assume that I would have put it in AI. Oh, AI is a sub thing here. BT task, now it's a service. I didn't properly label it properly. Update boss info, no I did. So yeah, we update the boss's info, but now he's got to have a respawn. There we go. So let's just lure this fucker over. And then we'll take a look at the update boss info. Oh great, I'm poisoned. So now we are definitely on the clock. Because I'm gonna get damaged every handful of seconds. I've got a little bit of food, we'll probably be fine. Again, I only need to kill 3 more. I really hope that I don't get fucked and have to like leave with only 1 kill to go. That will be horrible. Anyway, so we have this thing which updates a handful of things, like the HP percent, its current state, whether or not it's passive or aggressive. It does on a timer, I believe. And then we have this general update boss info, which like I honestly like don't remember everything that happens in here, if I'm being like 1000% honest with you. But we're going to be using this basic ID for this as well. So let's add the update boss info. I think that was the sound effect of the boss dying. Yes, it was. Now I need to eat up. We can pick up the ores and the bones. And now we need to wait another minute. And then one more. I think I've got enough food to survive this. So yeah, let's add a service here. That will be updates boss info. Which means that we can, I think, also get rid of the BT service for update enemy HP, because that is baked into the boss info. Yeah, we have this health here, so we have the HP percent. Timer duration, state timer, I don't think I have. Oh, actually I do. So we have aggressive duration, aggression duration, state timer. The passive wait time is already set to passive wait time. That's really nice. And then we have the boss state info, which is a struct which has the health threshold, state timer duration, and the passive wait time. So we have like 3 different states here. Let's see what we have for in this. So we start with 100%. And we set how long the passive timer duration is, so that should be counting. Okay, so I think what it does, again, it's been a while. We developed a whole ass game. It's a small game, but we developed a whole ass game between making this boss and updating this one. So do give me a little bit of we're going to increase this one as we go along, right? So yeah, this one is going to go up, and then the passive wait time is going to go down. So let's start that at like 8 seconds here. It's a tutorial boss, right? So we should be relatively lenient with it. So we have the over 70% HP, and then I'm going to like keep that. So this will be under 70, and then this will be under 30. And then this will increase in how long it stays aggressive. And this will decrease in how long it stays... Let's make this 6, actually. How long it stays passive. Okay. That's the basic ID. Surely that fucker has respawned by now. It has, and I am almost dead. Holy shit. Probably should have paid a little bit more attention, because again, I really don't want to leave here with only 1 kill left to go. That would be insane. Getting here is a pain in the ass. So let's pay a little bit more attention to it, because I think we can make this happen. We could probably also just like rely on redemption, get a little bit of extra HP through that. We'll see. Not hitting very high. I get a magic level though. That's kind of nice. So yeah, that's the plan for today, is to kind of just make all that work, which means that we don't want this or this. I'm not going to delete these yet. They're just going to kind of like sit over to the side here. So that and that's my magic level. So that I can like reference everything in there, because we also have this like special attack which only happens in the 2nd and the 3rd one. And I think it influences something to do with like HP percentage and how likely it is to do that attack, and it doesn't even do that attack in its first phase at all. That kind of stuff, right? Okay, now please give me like a minute to live. It does 3 damage every 20 seconds. That should be okay. That should be good. That shouldn't be a big deal. So we can start looking into this. We don't need this anymore either. Character movement speed. We might... We'll look into that at the end. We might just make a service that sets the character movement speed based on like a boss state. I'm thinking... Okay, hold on. I am thinking, right? What we probably should do is going into this update boss info. We have this F boss info struct where we have the health threshold, the state time duration, the passive wait time, whatever. I think what we want to do is we also want to add a U property here, which we'll do add it anywhere, which will be an int, and this will be the phase counter. That's not... Is that how you spell phase? It is now. So now we have a way to deal with that. So sometimes maybe if we only want something to happen starting at phase 2, we can just put in a blackboard key for the phase. I think that makes the most sense. So then we get back into the boss update info, and I need to make sure that I don't die here because yeah, Rex has... Oh, no, don't get the major on me. That would be a bad time. I don't want that to happen. Because then I fucking die. Alright, last kill, and then I can close off RuneScape. And oh, no, you're not gonna hit me. Apparently I was out of prayer as well. We've got plenty of time here. Like, again, 3 damage every 20 seconds. Got 30 HP. I'm fine. Getting a shitload of damage, and we'll be done with this Slayer task. And then I can focus on the actual game development instead of playing games. Which is really quite nice. Come on. Last kill, give me like an insane drop. That would be great. Kind of been getting fucked with the drops on this guy, not gonna lie. It's not an insane drop, but at least it's like extra money. That's kind of neat. Okay. With all that, let's get the fuck out of here. So that I can safely say, hey, we're gonna log off. I need to wait 10 seconds until I can log out. There we go. Okay, with RuneScape now closed, we can focus back on this. We have this thing here where we do for boss info, boss state info. We also need a... F blackboard key selector for the phase. I still need to figure out how I can possibly like filter these on type so that the state time duration only allows floats and stuff like that, but I'll care about that later. Phase counter. So then in here we check if HP percent is less than or equal to info threshold. Then we set the... Yeah, so we set the value as int, and the value that we set will be our phase counter dot selected key name, and then we'll take our info dot phase counter. And now we also have a way to like introduce an integer in here that can tell us what phase we're on. So by default that's going to be... Well, we can actually put in anything we want there. I was going to say by default that's going to be 0 and then it'll count up, but we can actually just like put in phase 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll just deal with it that way. It's literally like a human level interpretation. There's no reason to make this like easier to read for machines, I don't think. So we'll not be starting at 0, I don't think. Okay. Back to the big game. I say yes. Also, welcome back, Instacollectors. It has been a while, hasn't it? Time zones are a bitch. Yeah, we're back to this game now, finally. I have finished the 2D game. It works. It's a little tedious. The gameplay loop is very limited, but the game is finished. And I still haven't put it up on itch.io because I have been insanely busy. It's been a busy, like, 2 weeks. Like, a lot of big projects just dropping on my head at once for work. Some of which are really cool. And I'm also, like, working on some videos for the YouTube channel here that are going to be kind of cool. I want to make a video about that whole 2D game, but turns out, like, condensing about, like, 40 hours of live stream development into a singular video, even just from a writing perspective, takes a lot of work. So, I haven't gotten around to publishing it yet on itch.io, but I should do that probably this weekend, when I finally have a little bit of time to dedicate to that kind of thing. But for now, let's rebuild with that updated boss info service. Anyway, how's everybody been? I say I've been busy, but I've also, like, been playing a little bit too much RuneScape, if I'm being, like, really honest with you. Like 99% of my time in that game is AFK stuff, but then that other 1% is, like, very involved and still, like, a few hours a week in which I could be doing other shit. But I don't know, I have this real bad habit of, like, toxic productivity where I feel the need to be doing something productive at all times. And if nothing else, like, getting minorly addicted to RuneScape again over the last couple of months has given me something to do that doesn't necessarily need to be productive. And it's really cool because RuneScape itself kind of tricks my brain into thinking that it's doing something productive, because RuneScape is just a dopamine factory, right? It's just big number go up. And that's all that game is. And it's an ever-moving goalpost. Like, it's a game that, like, technically speaking, you can, like, finish it. Like, there are objectives. There are, like, collection logs that you can fill out. There are, like, achievements that you can all get. But that's, like, years of work to do all that. So, realistically, you're never going to complete all of it. And it kind of tricks my brain into thinking it's doing productive stuff while I'm actually just sitting down, relaxing, and playing a game. Which, with normal video games, I have a hard time doing that sometimes. So it's kind of good, but also it stems from, like, a actual issue where I feel kind of uncomfortable whenever I'm doing something that's, like, not productive. Which maybe, like, trying to fix that issue in my mind is a better way to fix that, but I don't know. Anyway, so now that we have that, we can go back into our boss update info, and now we have this phase counter, right? So our phase counter will be 1, 2, and 3. And then we need to add something to the blackboard here. Will be an integer. Oh, thanks for the... Oh, actually, I probably should re-enable chat. Thanks for the super chat, though. Phase... Oh, I don't have Unreal selected. Phase counter. It has a switch statement that sets, like, movement speed based on the phase counter if we really, really wanted to. But I don't think we will do that for the time being. So for now, we're just going to get rid of this. And I'm just going to go straight into this selector, which actually means that we don't need that selector anymore. And that could just be a thing on this selector instead. So that's kind of nice. Then we have passive and aggressive. And we need to set these values again, I believe. So we have the key value is equal to passive. We also have a dead. I probably should also make an inactive state for it or something like that. I guess we can use that for that though. Because that just kind of means like, hey, don't run any of this shit. Like ever at all. Okay, from there, I don't think we need to do this anymore because this is, what does this do? Set enum value. Actually, what does this do? Okay, so this just switches the enum value after a certain amount of time. We have that fixed up now, so we don't need to do that. Why do we have two selectors like back to back here? That is bullshit. We can just turn those around real quick. See, we already actively still have the same thing, but we've gotten rid of all of this already, and then we're now also cleaning up everything that is in here. This is already so much easier to read. You know what? I actually didn't get to like have a quick bathroom break before starting the stream today because I was killing fucking dinosaur lizard things in RuneScape. So I'm gonna do that real quick because I really like kind of have to use the bathroom real quick. Usually I do that before the stream, but today I was literally like that guy from South Park playing WoW. That's kind of like literally me today. I'm also probably gonna like put on the AC because it's hot in here. I'll be right back. Give me a minute. Hopefully the AC isn't too loud in the background. I think I have noise reduction enabled in OBS, which seemed to actually be remarkably good last time I tried it, so it'll probably be fine, maybe, I don't know. But it is properly summer here, and I'm also, which maybe this is the part that I shouldn't be doing, I'm also running my new air fryer, like I talked about in a Discord server. Nobody's hearing this actually because there's an ad running. I guess except if you have YouTube Premium or an ad blocker. So what the fuck do I know? But I have this new air fryer which also has like a dehydration function. So I'm making some beef jerky in the background, but that also generates heat. So I probably shouldn't be doing that while it's like hot outside as well. Like I'm actively like heating the interior of the air fryer, which is dumping heat into my room, and then cooling that with my AC, which seems like a little over the top, right? A little. I also made banana chips today. Those didn't end up doing so well, sadly. But anyway. So now we check whether or not the distance to the player is less than 350, and then we tag cooldown. Why do we have this? Because surely, like, we don't have that in here, do we? Yeah, because we just do them in a sequence. It's because doability now... Okay, that's the thing. When we made this first one, doability didn't wait for the ability to end yet. What it used to do is this doability. It didn't have like this part, tag to watch for end. So it would just activate the ability and immediately finish execute. But now it does wait for that, so we don't need all that like weird tag stuff, which didn't work half the time anyway. So we can get rid of that. Everything is going to be more readable as a result of this as well. So we don't need this tag cooldown or set tag cooldown. Well, this is fucking worthless, isn't it? It's a sequence of one thing. Is it a sequence of one thing in the rest as well? Yeah, it's just a sequence that goes into a selector. What the hell was I on when I made this? It's just a selector, dude. It doesn't need to have a sequence in between. I don't know. And then these two are both sequences, so we stop movement first and foremost, and then we do ability in both cases. So this is presumably the... Okay, so what we do here... Oh, but that doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? Huh? Okay, so the idea here was that we only do this if the percentage check... Oh, it's checking the enemy defense being below 70. Okay, so that makes sense. So if the enemy defense is below 70%, it will be able to do its heavy attack as well, which is the one where it gets stuck in the ground and gives you an opportunity to attack it. If the enemy defense is over 70, it just goes into this one, where it picks a random one that doesn't include the heavy attack as well. This BT looks gorgeous and complicated enough to cause a headache. I mean, when these two were implemented as well, I would agree. We're working on it already. We're making things better, hopefully, maybe. I don't know. Why do you use Microsoft Edge? My bookmarks. I don't know why you would use Microsoft Edge. I use Chrome. That's because I'm too lazy to port over all of like my cookie stuff to Firefox at this point. So yeah, I think this kind of just works. It's nicely laid out though. I will give you one thing. I am like very OCD about laying out my behavior tree nodes in a neat way. Not about my normal blueprint nodes. Like if we go, I'm gonna get very distracted as usual. But if we just go into like my player, I did this. I showed this in a video that I recorded this week as well, and I felt a little embarrassed about it. If I go into my basic attack, don't need that node. My basic attack blueprint, right? This is a fucking mess. This doesn't look that bad, but wait until we get to like the root movement. Like, holy fuck, what kind of bomb went off here? Like, this is actually atrocious. It could be a lot worse, I suppose. Still. But it could also be a lot better. Anyway. So then if the distance to the player is less than 350. If it is not, we check whether or not the distance to the player is greater than 1,000. So it only does a teleporting attack when you are a certain distance away. And it checks whether or not the cooldown for the ults... hold on, I actually think I was using like that last tag that I removed. That was actually one that I was using, I think, maybe. Oh no, hold on, this does both. This sets the... Why is it only set to 5 seconds though? Because that definitely should be... more than 5 seconds. It should also just work on a mana system, not on a cooldown system, I think. Because I have mana. I didn't see the end part of the game. Maybe I can give it a shot. I can try to show off the TCG trading card simulator tycoon. That's the word I was looking for. At the end of the stream. It's pretty simple. Add sets cooldown on deactivation. Should be true. And then we set this to like 20 seconds or some shit. Set it to 25 seconds actually. Is this a teleport attack? The teleport attack should only be happening when the HP is below a certain percentage though, right? So here we can add in a blackboard decorator as well. And everything else we can just entirely ignore until our HP percent is less than, let's say, 70%. And then ideally, this tag cooldown, we could actually like make a child class of that. And do this cooldown duration. Like as a blackboard key is what I was thinking, so that we can like dynamically change it. But I don't think I really care that much, to be honest with you. And if you're between 1,000 and 350, you just move to wood player. I think that's all there is to it, to be honest, because then we have this passive thing, and like we have stop movement, play montage, where we just sit down, wait. Turns out actually, wait for blackboard time already exists. So we made BTT wait for blackboard time. Like we did that ourselves. But we also already just have wait blackboard time. Which I guess doesn't have random deviation built in. And there's no reason for me at this point to use this one, but it's a little like goofy that I made that while it actually existed already. So this will be then the passive wait time with a random deviation of a second. Then we play the montage of him standing back up. Then we'll wait for 1 second, and then we set the enum back to aggressive. So yeah, the passive state already also just kind of does everything it needs to do. So I think we pretty much did everything we needed to do now. There's not actually that much. All that this does is the exact same thing every time, just with different values and different nodes. Like the wait time here became lower, and here as well, I suppose, but it doesn't actually matter that much. So this should be the first thing that fires. This seems a little bit iffy in how I programmed it. Let me check if there's a better way. Unreal behavior tree run node only once. Because right now what I'm doing is I'm checking a bool and then doing some stuff and then setting the bool again. But I guess what we're doing here is actually setting the attack cooldown ult to 10 seconds to begin with. But it'll only be able to do that starting at 70% HP, so we don't actually need to do that, I don't think. The whole reason that we did this is because you enter the arena more than 1,000 units away from him. So the first thing he would do whenever you enter, even like mid cutscene, was teleport to you and start beating you up. Like even while the camera was still doing the cutscene. But we don't need this anymore, I don't think. So we can just kind of delete this. And now we have this as the behavior tree, which is so much better than what we had at the start of the stream already. Holy hell. Thank you so much for explaining for your videos. It's so good. So I'll explain. Glad that they are helpful. I am very glad that they are helpful indeed. Let's test out whether or not this works. Because first time success never happens, right? So we have 07 door. I think, yes. So, hold on. Oh, no, my headphones are just that good. I was like, hold on, is this playing over my, like, speakers? But no, it's actually playing in my headphones. You guys just, like... I was afraid I was gonna, like, echo for you guys, but no. Just high-quality headphones. Okay, first and foremost, he goes right back to passive. Okay, maybe he should start at aggressive. Okay, now he goes back to aggressive. And, okay, so everything seems to pretty much work. Oh, yeah. I also... I set his HP to, like, being non-existent because I wanted to test this cutscene. Because this is the cutscene that... Clearly unfinished, by the way. I want to point that out. This is cutscene that we were working on last week. Or was 2 weeks ago, but now I don't know. In the last stream, anyway. And this is the cutscene that when you beat the boss fight, transports you to the actual like start of the game post-tutorial, right? So here we show all of the doors that lead into all of the dungeons around the center points, only 2 of which have actual levels in them. And then we like go back to this, and then we have like a save point right here to start the actual gameplay. But that means that the boss fight itself... We're going to ignore that for now. That means the boss fight itself doesn't actually like have that much HP. I'm the only person ever in live chat that doesn't use Unreal Engine. Well, yeah, like 99% of the content on the channel is Unreal specific, so that makes sense. I have like maybe like 10, 15 Unity videos, and then all my devlogs are, I would say, like engine agnostic. Doesn't really matter what engine you use. You'll probably understand what I'm talking about a little bit more if you use Unreal Engine. But the devlogs are more about like general development, not so much about like technically how this works in this engine and whatever. Okay, so let's go back into this dude's stat thing. Data table, that's the word that we use for that. And go back into his HP and set it to like maybe a little bit more than 50. 15 rather. I think it was at 400 before, which might be a bit much to be honest. I need to play around with these values. And then its defense is 100 in both cases. Seems like that might be a little low as well, to be honest with you. Because we absolutely like tore through his defense. Is that just because I cheated my strength level to be very high? No, I don't think so. Yeah, my strength level is just like level 1. I'm going to actually make Unreal Engine a little quieter because this seems a little excessive in volume. I think that might be better. A lot of game dev concepts do, yeah, kind of transcend the engines, like making stuff on like a tutorial level, the engine matters, but when you get up to like a little bit more of an abstract level, which that's kind of like the idea that I have for the channel, right? We have like very specific hard skill sets with tutorials, and then more soft skill set development with the devlogs, which is more like abstract and kind of can be used in like any scenario. I really should flick that flag. I have a bool somewhere in like my game files here that will skip this cutscene, because I know that people are going to die to bosses. So whenever you go into a boss room, I immediately thought, okay, so the first time I want to show this cutscene, because I like having like a little bit of an introductory cinematic. It makes it feel a little bit like more high quality and all that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, also we definitely want him to, like, again, be aggressive at the start. We'll think about that in a moment. That should be not that difficult to set up, actually. I was talking about a thing. Oh yeah, the cutscene. So then, whenever you die to him and get sent back to the last save point, actually the defense bar is quite alright, I think. What ends up happening is the moment you start the boss fight for the first time, it runs that cutscene, and it also like flips a bool somewhere. And then whenever you enter the boss fight again, it sees, hey, this bool has been flipped to being true. So I'm going to skip playing the cutscene and you're just going to immediately get into the fight. Because it's really annoying when you fight a boss in a game. And oh, that's not the key that I wanted to press. What is my healing key? That's my healing key. Why does my particle effect not play? How the fuck did I break my particle effect? No, seriously. Oh, there we have it. Probably wasn't just, like, loaded in yet. Which is a question whether or not that is a me issue or a Unreal Editor kind of issue. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know, does this feel tedious, having this boss fight be this long? Because the basic loop of the boss fight is, like, very, very simple. Right? You just, like, dash through him. Make sure you don't get attacked. You wait for him to do that. And you don't run away because he starts doing this shit. But he only does one of them, apparently. He's supposed to teleport multiple times. Okay, that's a thing that I have to look into as well. It feels like this might be slightly tedious to have it last this long. I don't know. Like, a boss fight should be more than just land a couple of hits, right? A boss fight should test whether or not you can, like, consistently do the mechanic of the boss fight. Like, that's the whole idea about, like, the old Mario bosses, is you have to hit the guy 3 times, so much that, like, at this point it's kind of like a cliche or almost a meme in the gaming industry. Like, oh, you have to hit the boss fight 3 times. Zelda does it even more. But the whole idea behind that is a boss fight is based on a specific mechanic, and doing that 3 times proves that you understand that mechanic and can, like, work with it. So, like, making the boss fight last as long as it does there, and that is, frankly, a pretty, like, optimized run of the fight, because I've done that fight a billion times. Like, there is a reason to it other than just artificially lengthening the boss fight to make it more difficult. Like, it needs to have a certain amount of... What the fuck?! You are still alive? Okay, so, apparently the previous level doesn't unload at the end of that. Okay, let me think about how we're gonna fix that. it's not a huge deal, but I would prefer if it did. But there's an issue there where this thing exists in this level. So can we play a sequence when it... that's probably not right. So at the very end here, just for shits and giggles, if I just put an event here... I'm not gonna lie, that was really good timing. Like, we're like 45 minutes into the stream. I need to like note this down somewhere, because that's definitely gonna be a short. Like, without a doubt. Hold on. Let me make a quick note of that in my phone. Notes. Make a new note. I've had this phone for 2 years. I've never made a note in it. About 45 minutes. Jump scare. Jump start? No, jump scare. Motherfucker. Jump start McRange? What the? Jump scare. Why the fuck does Apple not know what a jump scare is? Holy. Never buy an iPhone, people. All that said, though, we have like this event. Can we just add an event track in and of itself without it being... I think we can, right? Yeah, just a loose event track that's not tied to any object. Can we, like, unload stream level? Yes, we can. Usually what I will do is I have like a... What I did like a couple of years ago at this point is I had a WhatsApp group that I made with a friend, and then I kicked that friend out, and now I have an empty WhatsApp group that I can just use to like send myself texts, which is also really nice when you like make a photo with like your phone and you want to send it to like your PC. Instead of doing it through like Google Drive like a sane person, I can do it through WhatsApp. Anyway, so this would be like 07 door, right? No, that's 08 boss fights. So let's see what happens when we unload that level stream, because this might be kind of fucked. Because we're unloading the level that this sequence exists in from the sequence itself. The question is whether or not this sequence, like actor that we have here, is actually needed to play out the sequence. Because the sequence itself is just an asset, right? So maybe it can just play through that asset still. And the cameras that we're working with... That's actually a fantastic question. The cameras that we're working with in that sequence probably also exist in... Ooh, that is a good point. Where do we have... Let's open this. Because those cameras likely exist in... can we... This is called Actor 4? Can we just look for 4? No. But we found it anyway. Okay, so this one exists in the persistent world, actually. So that's fine. That is entirely fine. That's not a big deal, though. I don't know why it exists, like, all the way the fuck over here. That's something else to look into at some point in the future, but not right now. I did the same thing with Telegram. It actually, like, kind of works very well. It's nice to, like, be able to text yourself things. What is really fucked is why don't these messaging apps just have a message thread with yourself to begin with? Because it is really nice to be able to use yourself as, like, just like a notes app. Probably because they don't want to like host your damn pictures on their servers. If you're just gonna send them to yourself. That's probably why. But still. Telegram actually does. Okay, Telegram just like straight up better than WhatsApp for that reason. Discord is adding notes apparently. That's also good. Okay, now we need to fuck this guy's day up again. Probably should make these hit particles like number 1 not suck and number 2 not purple. You know, this is actually pretty good for testing purposes. Maybe we shouldn't make him aggressive to begin with, because like, we can do about half his HP bar just by doing this, and then we just do like the rest. I don't know, for like actual testing purposes, we probably need to have the boss fight be somewhat similar to what it will be in the final game. So I will set up his aggressive behavior through the sequencer in an event in a moment. Why? Okay, there's a little bit of bugginess with his defense bar there, which I don't love. Yeah, okay, how about actually you come down here, because I don't like having to, like, fight you uphill. I'm not fucking Anakin Skywalker, I don't fuck with the high ground. Okay. There's a little bit of a lag spike whenever we start that cutscene. And I don't exactly know why. Presumably because it's loading all those cameras or something like that? I don't know. It might just be an editor thing. I need to build this game at some point, because it's been months since I did like a build for the game. And that's probably not a good idea. Working on something for months and not actually building it. Because that's how you get things like that 2D game we made. Where I worked on it. Everything kind of just like worked. That's fine. It did unload the other level. Like I can double check. The other level below here doesn't exist anymore, right? Yeah, so that's just gone. Okay, so then, in that case, what I think I'll do is we will go to this level sequence. And instead of fading over to the third-person character blueprint for the perspective, what we'll do is we'll find wherever we put that event track. Presumably somewhere down here. Yes. And we'll just make this guy like over to the character. It'll be a hard cut, so when everything despawns, it won't be as fucked. I think. Maybe. We'll see. At the same time, here in the opening cutscene, what we'll do is very much at the end here. Oh, we actually just have... Oh, no, don't move that. We have an event at the end here, which is get player character, set visibility, enable inputs. Did we not disable the input at any point? Sequence event 1. Is that not used? Why do you have so many events all over the place? So yeah, this should disable the input. It doesn't seem like it does, maybe. I don't know. We'll worry about that later. So at the very end here, what I want to do is I also want to... Actually, I need to do that from the test node themselves. So what does this event do? I think we just need to move this to the very end as well, to be honest with you. Okay, so this adds the local offset to the player character, restarts the bosses of logic, and then we also want to like get blackboards and set value as enum. And then byte to enum boss state. And then make literal byte. No, there's a way to do this. Hold on, there's a way to do this. Boss states. Literal enum e boss states. I think that's it. Yeah, so that makes that into like a byte. There we go. Will be set to aggressive at the start here. And then we need the key name, which is a very good question. We'll make that a literal name. And then in the night boss here, in the blackboard, we have the just called the state. Okay. I'm very creative with these names. I mean, that makes sense. Opinion on sleep. Kind of annoying. What do we need to sleep? Like as human beings? I would very much enjoy it if I could just like not sleep. Well, no, actually, let me rephrase that. I really like sleeping. I don't like the fact that I have to sleep. I also don't like the fact that my game is running at 2 frames per second. What the actual fuck is happening? Like, what's causing that? It would be really nice if we could sleep whenever we wanted to. Just like, man, I don't feel like doing it right now. We just like go to sleep. But if you're on a roll, it's really annoying when you get tired and you have to go to sleep. While you want to just keep on going and keep on going and keep on going. And sometimes you have those moments. And, okay, so that's why... Holy shit, you were just in front of me. Like, right there. Okay. So that is why that is okay. Yeah, okay. Let's go back there. Because there's some things to take into account that I didn't really think about. Why is real-time off? Who said real-time to off? I'm making a game, not a movie. Okay, at least the sequencer is smooth. Okay, so this one goes all the way back here. I guess we just make a different event at the very end here for him to start moving. I really should start naming these events as well, but I can't be fucked. We just set enum value, and like everything about this, we can just kind of like copy over, right? Well, yeah, we can copy it over, and then we'll just like delete this. It seemed like the other, like the knight himself also teleported though, which is kind of what worried me. But I might have not been paying attention, he just walked toward me. At least we're back in... Hey guys, remember when I said that I should disable this cutscene for testing purposes? Well, we're actually testing the cutscene right now and how it works with the events, so we can't. But in a moment, we probably should go into the level blueprint and just, or into my save file actually, just... Okay. Are you gonna start walking toward me? Why are you passive? The fuck even is this? Sword, I don't care. I don't give a damn. Why did you not run? Wait, which one? One of these didn't run. Why not? Like this one. So we have a restart logic in there as well, right? But that happens before? Oh, just barely. Just barely. So maybe I need to restart this logic a little earlier. And then I don't know if it will run this last frame or not, so let's be safe there. Because this does the restart logic, right? No, this does enable input. Which definitely we want to be all the way back here. Is this restart logic then? No, this is get all actors of class, which is, we can just make get actor of class, but who the fuck cares? So this is the restart logic. Also the thing that moves the player character, because why the fuck not? So why is this not being set properly? Oh, yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, so it is being set properly, but the logic restarts with it being in passive. So it goes ahead and does all this, and then it gets set to aggressive. But I don't think that this is set to a board lower priority. So it should be aborting both, and now it should fix that. Hope you guys aren't getting tired of that cutscene, because you're going to be watching it a lot. As am I. I do need to go check on my dry and jerky in a moment as well. See if there's any pieces that need to be like turned around. Before the stream, like an hour and a half ago, they seem to be doing quite good already. So, okay, and now he starts as aggressive. So we effectively have the boss fight as we want it to be. And at this point, there is not that much use in testing before I actually fix up the combat animations on my character. Because they've already been fixed up a little bit, but they need to be fixed up more. And everything like... Okay, kind of ignore the fact that his armor deforms real bad there. That's also something that I still need to fix up. Like at this point... The code around this guy works, which is actually amazing, because we did end up having a first-time success. We didn't actually need to change anything about the behavior tree after we fixed stuff up. Which that just doesn't happen. Everything that went wrong because of, like, the sequence of things. Oh my god, you actually, like, didn't die there. You see, it kind of has, like, a lag spike there. That's kind of weird. If you don't think you can say the analogy, you're probably right. You're probably better off not saying it. Yeah, so we have all this. This camera is still fucking about. There's a good moment for me to get up and just check if my jerky isn't, like, burning or whatever. It shouldn't. It's at like 60 some degrees Celsius, which is like, you never know. Ooh, that's that good shit. Yeah, most of this is the smaller pieces are kind of good. The bigger piece that people will apply. Good, okay. We've got a small piece to just snack on real quick. That's good shit. I know eating it on the microphone is kind of gross to some people, so I'm trying not to make sound. We also need to remove the Fallen Knight HP bar when he dies. Okay, and we also can't load into new levels. I wonder why that is. I wonder why that is. It's probably to do with the fact that it's trying to unload. That might be it. I think it's trying to unload a level that is no longer loaded, and as such it can't move on after that. Which is less than ideal. I think that code exists in my game instance. Might have been moved to C++. Can I look for specific blueprint classes? Can. Maybe I can't. Should be able to, right? You can look for blueprint classes, but I want to look for specific classes. Because I have a fuck ton of them and I don't know where I put it. Presumably I put it in blueprints, actually. Hold on. Somewhere. Yeah, action RPG game instance. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it exists in here. Remember when I said that my blueprints kind of look like shit usually? Yeah, this is why. This is unreadable. Like, look at this, man. Like, why even is it an event? Why is it not just a function? Switch your data layers, maybe. I'm not switching shit. At this point. Because, like, this system works. It's just like weird edge cases there. Where I need to, like, when I try to load a level. Why does it do once? Okay, so the issue here probably is like the do once node. Why is that in there? Because it's only at the very end here where the do once node gets reset. So if we don't... It's probably a reason that I put in there. I've got a better idea. Let's not fuck with this because I don't remember what happened. What we'll do instead is we will... Because it does everything based on strings, on names or whatever. So what we'll do is... I need a better GPU is what we'll do. One of these days I'll be rich and have a new GPU. At the end of the boss night defeated here, we'll also, like, in... It doesn't really matter which event, we can just do it on, like, this one. When we unload this, after we completely unload it, because we're forcefully unloading here, we'll get the game instance, cast it to the BP, whatever the fuck it's called. And we will set current... let's see, we set the next level, is what it's called. And we'll set last level. And we'll just set these automatically. Maybe. Actually, we can get level name, right? That might not be the best way to do it. Okay, so the next level is Really annoying, actually, that it works this way. But maybe we can... We like load level. Gonna do something a little fucky. Hold on. We're gonna load level by object instance. Then we will make... No, not make this. We'll promote this to a variable. Yeah, okay. And then we'll get... I think you can like, get a name from this, right? How do I do this again? Because in these level doors, I might be doing this within C++, which would kind of complicate things a little bit. Okay, so what we do is we like get the level, we load it, and then we can get the object's name. That's what we do. Okay, so we can... where the fuck? There we go. So we can load assets. Blocking, sure. Get name. And then I guess what we'll... Next level, I will make a second one of these, which will be the last level. We can just copy the names over, by the way, if we really wanted to. But this way, if I, for whatever reason, start changing the names, should be fine. And we're loading in these assets that are already loaded in, right? So that this should just pass right through and just make an object reference out of it. So this should not be an issue, I don't think. Oh, hold on. We can just get rid of... Oh, that's even better. Oh, great. Yeah, we don't even need these two. Get fucked. There we go. Okay, so the next level then will be... I named these things really poorly. I think next level is the central hub. And then the last level is 0-8 boss fights. I think that's how it works. Because then when we run into a door, what it actually does is it moves wherever the blueprint we're working on right there. Yeah, so it moves whatever is inside next level. It moves that into last level and puts in the level that is going to load, that door is assigned to, into the value for next level. And then uses that to load by name. I think. So this should fix up the issue that we just had with it not loading in the new level when we get up there. And now we'll see. Hold on, my chat is set to only showing top chat. Maybe I should set it to like showing all chat, just in case like people are feeling ignored. It's entirely possible that people are talking and I'm just not seeing it. Then again, my chat is slow enough to the point where I don't think YouTube will be filtering too much. Speaking of filtering, these wall textures are just fantastic, aren't they? Okay, so my teleport attack doesn't really work that well anymore. I fucked something up about it. And what I probably fucked up is the fact that I changed the source animations that it samples from. So I probably just need to set the in and out points for those again a little bit better. And that should probably fix it again. I think, maybe, we'll see. I actually, like, I'm dying. Just sad. My god, I made you! Stop killing me! If you ever hear that sentence in real life, by the way, seriously consider where the fuck you messed up as a parent. Okay, so I think at some point we probably should also allow him to do that teleport attack, even if you're close to him. Just so that you can't, like, endlessly spam like this. Yes, his feet are literally inside the floor. Again, rough animation. Ignore it. This takes a moment. It does. When all these doors are properly lit up and show their own colors, hopefully it looks a little bit like more interesting than it does right now. There's only 2 of them that have colors at the moment. Okay. With all that, I do think that I want to make a save game up here as well. Fuck me. I can't click on the widget below because the fallen night thing is still there. Oh, that's actually an issue if you pause during the fight itself. So we need to fix up 2 things there. Number 1, when this thing fucking dies, it needs to also remove its widget, because that's just not okay. So we open up sublevel 08, and there we have the boss health widgets. Remove from parent. Why does this not run? Because this is on enemy death. We add enemy multiplier. That makes sense. We're not using that yet, but we'll do that at some point in the future, I'm sure. Then we set the boss has defeated. We play that sequencer. We set the hitbox state to false. We load the central hub. We also tell this thing to remove itself from the parents. But this, I don't think, is actually the thing that's doing the thing. But it must be. Okay. Apparently we added a boss parameter to creating this widget afterward. I guess we just promote this to a variable. It might not have, like, kept this around long enough or something like that. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but we can promote it to a variable, and we'll just call this widget. Because there's a couple of places where we try to remove this, I believe. Which also might explain why it doesn't get removed in the builds when the player dies. Because that's also an issue that I remember having. So let's do this instead. Where else does this go? You can just keep that as set values, that's fine. Add to viewport, that's fine. But more importantly, that entire widget should be non-interactable. It should not be blocking anything. Because it has no reason to. So, like, this entire thing. Wait, that's rendering, that's not... I thought clipping. There is a thing here for, like, inputs. No. Where is it again? Behavior? Non-hit testable. Self and all children. Nothing about this should be hit testable. Like, at all. Like, even a little bit. You can set the tick frequency to either auto or never. Wow. Great. Okay, so now at least this is easily testable, right? We can just kind of like open the pause menu and see if we can close out of the pause menu after that widget gets added. Can I actually pause in the middle of a cutscene? I've never tried that. I can, but the cutscene keeps playing. Okay. That's actually interesting. Huh. There's probably a setting for that, right? Okay, we have this. It still blocks me. Why does it block me? I don't care about any of this shit at the moment. I'm going to close down a couple of these blueprints because it's kind of bloating things up too much. Why the fuck? Like, is it the canvas panel itself that's blocking my stuff? It's also non-hit testable, so that shouldn't be it. And both of these... Oh, is it because they're focused on there? Maybe it's because they get the focus. Hold on. Is focusable? None of these are focusable either. So, what's going on? Blueprints, characters, player. When we add... Okay, so I think what might be happening... So when we add it to the viewport, for some reason it does get focus, even though it shouldn't be focusable. And that's overriding the focus that we have on the common canvas. And when we push things to that common canvas, the canvas itself doesn't get its focus back. So if we just like set focus back here, at least that bug will be fixed, I think. Because whenever we open one of these menus, we 1000%... Oh, it's not even pausing the game when we open gameplay menu. That probably should also just like pause game, right? But then we also need to accept pause game to false in a moment, so we'll take a look at that later. Not right now. Oh, fantastic. Sure. I don't know what happened there. Remember when everything went well first try? And then I started doing other stuff, and that didn't happen? Oh, my new short has gone live. Actually, people are like commenting on it, which doesn't happen on all the shorts. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's a short about state trees. I really like the idea about state trees. It's just a shame that they're like not actually fully like implemented to the point where you can use them yet. At least not when I last looked at them a couple of months ago. Maybe now they are. But they lacked like debugging features, which is like obviously an issue. Not that I end up using the debugging features for state or behavior trees that much. But they're there. And when I need to know a specific like instance, having like specific like blackboard values or where they are in their tree, like I can visually like confirm that and check that. And for something like AI behavior, it's pretty important to be able to do that. But the moment that state trees like get that functionality, I'm probably not switching over for this project, because at this point, like, I have like this infrastructure almost built for the character AIs. But like the moment that I start a new project, I'll probably like strongly considering using state trees over behavior trees. Seems like a really, really cool system. So, okay. Let's see if we crash again. We are inside of the streaming level. That's not what I want to have happen. Why does it do that sometimes? It's kind of weird. We should be in the persistent world. Okay. Why does it fucking do that? Weapon begin play? I didn't do anything about the weapon. What the fuck are you on about, man? Okay, let's go into the weapon class and see what might be wrong. So it's in begin play line, I think, was 69. Nice. This is enemy. This is not weapon. Where's my weapon class? There we are. What is this line? Something about a U-log that's not going well. Doesn't matter. I'm not using that U-log anymore. Go fuck yourself. Bye. I'm still confused as to what I did to make that crash happen, though. Because nothing I did even came close to working on anything that has to do with the weapon or the player, for that matter. So why does that suddenly cause issues? I also am really curious as to why I decided to log the player character's name to begin with. So I'm not gonna lie, the combination of the revision control plugin that I use and having to rebuild with Writer seems to not be a great combination, maybe. Seems like it's making these rebuilds take longer. It might just be that it's a pretty massive project at this point, which makes rebuilds take longer. I don't know. Could be either or, to be honest with you. Let's see. Do we crash? We don't crash. It's a good fucking start. Why do I have two swords? What the... What did I do? What could I have possibly done to cause this? Doesn't matter, that's not what we're testing right now. Let's focus on what we're testing. And then we'll get back to how in the world I can possibly have two swords at the same time. Like, I didn't even touch anything to do with any of this shit. And now it makes sense why the game was crashing to do with that, but... And this still doesn't fucking... What? What is happening? What did I do? Oh, this canvas is getting focused, right? Yeah, so we are focusing. So, okay, so whenever we do this, we set the widget in focus actually to the UI canvas. No. I was going to say maybe that's the issue, but that's definitely not the issue, is it? What does this push widget function do? Maybe we need to focus this. I don't know, man. I'm just kind of trying stuff at this point. The reason that I don't think that's the issue, by the way, is if I just do this, I can just click on it, no problem. It's just when the other thing is overlaid on top of it that somehow blocks my clicks, even though I set it to specifically not be hit testable. So that almost implies that we're not in UI interaction mode. Because we're still going to have the issue, right? Yeah. But it does show me... Get fucked. You idiot. Okay, now I got hit. But it does show me my cursor. So... And we set the gameplay mode to UI only whenever we add it. So why... So why? I really don't understand. I really just don't understand. Yeah, this is a mess, don't get me wrong. I'm fully aware. Let's worry about the pause menu itself first, because I think, like... This is not hit testable, that makes sense, but the button should be hit testable at least. So visibility is visible. Interaction, it's focusable. So is the common UI itself here just not, like, focusable? Is that the issue? This doesn't have a focus. Vertical box. This is focusable, that makes sense. And the game zone doesn't need to be focusable. The canvas. Common canvas. Is this not focusable? It's not. That might be the issue? Maybe? I don't know. Let's see if it makes a difference. And then we gotta figure out whatever the hell's happening with those swords. Because that's weird as fuck. It's kind of cool though, having that floating sword there, but... The fuck? Define game dev without defining game. I know, right? This shit happens all the time. The larger a project grows, the more it happens, because, like, you lose track of whatever you did, like, half a year ago. I also need to update the cameras for this guy, because I don't know what happened, but... Or maybe just his position, actually, by the looks of it, because he's just in the ground. Maybe that's the problem. Okay. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. Why doesn't it? I am so confused. Look, this is one of the reasons. Every time I do something UI related, I say this is the reason. There's a lot of reasons that I don't like doing UI. This is one of them. I think maybe I understand what the issue is. Hold on. So if we open up the level blueprint again, I think I'm setting this thing to visible at some point, which makes it hit testable. Maybe. Maybe not. No, doesn't seem like it. We just add it to the viewport. I guess we can add it to Z order like -99. So that's definitely behind. When you add it to the viewport, change the Z order. Yeah, that's probably a good workaround. Um, I thought I set it to visible somewhere in here, but maybe not. Again, if this just like the Z order for this thing is just -99, and as a matter of fact, when we add these things to like this common canvas where all our gameplay menus exist, we add that somewhere here, surely. Somewhere it exists, maybe. At some point I'm going to find it. Just don't know when or where. Oh, here, adding common canvas. Like adding this to the viewport. This should just be at like Z99. This should always be on top. Like whatever the fuck I put in, doesn't matter. The gameplay related menus should always be on top. No ifs and no buts. Always be on top. Should always be interactable. And I can technically set it to higher than 99, but there's no need to. Like, I'm never going to use like 99 layers worth of Z order. At that point, I probably also like don't need to set the other one to like -99, but oh, that's the wrong button. It's fun though. Let's create a little distance to test this out, and now I can. Now it works. Okay, that's fantastic. So now that we have that, let's see if it also removes the thing when he dies. Because that's the thing that we actually wanted to test. But we fixed another bug that, honestly, like somebody pointed out to me like 8 months ago, and I haven't fixed it up until now. So we're doing good stuff. We're doing productive things. And I'm really enjoying the fact that I feel like we're making some kind of progress. Because, again, at some point, like, during this summer, I want to, like, put out a new test build for people to test play. Because the game is so different from the last one I did, which was, again, I think it was about 8 months ago at this point. So, there's a fair few things that I still need to fix up, as is, like, clearly evident. But this boss fight's AI was definitely one of them, and one that I was kind of scared to do. And so far it seems pretty good. The only other thing that I probably need to... I don't know about need to, but what I should do is... There's a puzzle at the very start of... Not the very start, but as one of like the keys to get access to this boss fight. You need to finish a puzzle. And a lot of people had trouble with that puzzle, and the idea of having a puzzle in every dungeon is kind of like scrapped from the game anyway. It's going to be a genre mesh in every dungeon instead. But making that is going to like take a hot minute as well. So I don't think that that'll be in this test build. We'll see. So yeah, it doesn't actually remove... So that's an issue. Why doesn't it remove? And here it is. Because I sure held down. So now the question is, does this still work? Okay, so this still works anyway. So yeah, so the Fallen Knight thing is behind there now. It's actually much better anyway. I wanted to make a save game up here. It still says 08 boss. That's probably not a good sign. Yeah, so that still has a problem. Okay, so what the fuck even is going on with all this? Why does this guy have 2 swords? What did I do to make him have 2 swords? Why? What? Why does he have 2 swords? What could possibly have given him a second sword? Something is spawning in a second sword. Right? Is it a static mesh or is it an actual, like, full-on child actor? It's a full-on actor. Huh. Okay, so this one actually, like, belongs to the thing. It's this one. Sword 155. Where could sword 155 be coming from? I have no idea. Is it different in any way from, like, this one? I can't even select that one without selecting, like, the parent actor, which is kind of weird. That's... Okay, that's kind of weird as well. Does it do this when I do a new game as well? Just out of curiosity. It does. I remember having something like this. Wait, does it just have... It just has a sword. How did that get there? I mean, it's fixed now. But what the hell? I guess that's just like an engine side bug. Or I did something really weird. Like, it's honestly a 50-50. Because that is really weird. Anyway. So yeah, why does it still not remove... Like, we add this to viewports. We remove the widget from parent. And then we load this level stream, right? And we know that this load level stream happens. Because we know that Night Boss defeated runs. The only thing that I can possibly imagine is messing this up could be the fact that when this sequence starts playing, the rest of this doesn't run. And I don't think we actually need to load this in, do we? Maybe we don't. Hold on. Because the central hub is always loaded? Question mark. Is it? Let's see. Change streaming method. No, it is not. But I do have a better idea, actually, than what we were doing before, because if we... So yeah, I'm not going to load this in through the level blueprint. I'm going to do something much more stupid. Am I? That actually is very stupid, the idea that I have. So I think what I want to do is I wanted to try to, like, load this in through here. And the reason that that's stupid is because I wanted to use the load level function that I have in my game mode. Because if I use that, like this one over here, like if we just like load level load, we can put in our current level and whatever level we want to load, and then everything should work properly. So I want to try doing that. So let's try to do it that way. But because this all does it asynchronously, and it's not like there's going to be a loading screen in between as a result, I think, because that's part of this function. And that's going to fuck with... Yeah, I don't think that worked very well. Anyway, let's try it either way. So we do both of those. Maybe I just need to, like, stop being so worried about that cutscene. Oh, no, that's actually... No, that's not going to work. That has, like, multiple reasons that that's not going to work. Because what this does is it also tries to place the player based on the level doors, and that's not going to fucking work, like, at all. So that entire function is just, like, not usable. Unless I split it up into a couple of sub-functions, which would be better. But I'm not going to do that right now. So we will still, like, do this manually. So let's Control-Z through this a little bit. We'll effectively just, like, recreate some of the functionality there. And I'll just check this out to see what actually happens. So what we do is, like, our current level gets set to our last level. So that's still something that we can just do. And then the next level gets set to the next level. And what do we pass into the current level? Is the value of what next level is right now. Okay, so let's stay as true to that as possible. So our last level will be equal to get next level. Yeah, no, that's actually not going to work, is it? Because next level, like, by definition, that doesn't work if we don't have the door to set that value. But we probably should set this in the proper order just in case it matters. So okay, load stream level by object reference. That will then load in our central hub. Make visible after load. When that's completed, we will unload this. This should, by all accounts, be relatively quickly to load in. So can we... load level instance. Maybe that, I don't know. Let's just see whether or not this works. In order to test this out, we are going to, however, set this value back to like 15. Because I am not going to bother doing that fight all the way through every single time. That seems like a nightmare to do. Oh, I think I know why it isn't removing the widget now. Because the level is getting unloaded, so the level blueprint can't... No! No, that shouldn't be the case. Never mind. No, I'm just an idiot. That's like not even remotely close to what's happening. I don't know what is happening, but it's definitely not that. Because it's supposed to remove that before the cutscene even starts playing. And the cutscene is now the thing that removes or unloads. So I don't know what the fuck is happening. All that I know is that this guy is gonna, like, die real hard. Probably should also just, like, lower his defense to make this even easier. Okay, let's see if this fucks up in any way, because it probably will. Yeah, that's not loaded, is it? But that's not even a little loaded. Which probably means that that event is just not getting triggered. Which is weird. Oh, now everything just like suddenly loads in. So... Okay, everything did like very suddenly load in after the cutscene ended. So that must, like logically, that must mean that it cannot load in those things, or at least not show those things mid-cutscene. While cinematic is playing, it just doesn't like to do that. So this does need to happen before we start the cutscene. And then I guess this can happen after we finish the cutscene. So going back to this. Hold on. I did a cutting operation twice in a row without actually pasting anything. Where did I... It's this one, right? Yeah, so this needs to happen like 1000% before this starts playing. And if it needs to happen before that starts playing, it probably needs to be the first thing that starts happening. Oh, that's why... Oh. Okay. So if we put in a sequence node here, we can make it start loading this, I think, without having to wait for it to finish loading. So it can start doing all the rest here. And hopefully that'll fix that issue. And then we can think like assign... It's probably assign on cinematic end, right? No. On and play. Yeah, there is. Oh, unbind. And play. Assign on and play. So when this thing stops playing, we want to unload the previous level. And at that point, I think we might as well do all this shit in there as well. Because, yeah, hold on. Yeah, that makes sense to just put all that in there and not have this event at all. What is this actor? Oh, that's probably the cinematic actor reference, and then the reason for the end play. Okay. Okay. That's also lowers defense. Like you were talking about, max defense was 100. Congratulations, that's now down to 20. And your defense itself is also going to go down to 20. Load game. Just to make it a little easier to test this stuff. Probably at this point also worth just skipping through this cutscene. But it's a little too late for that now. Because I need to go into like a data asset and flip a bool to do that. And then save the game again. Undoubtedly, we're going to like reload the game in a second anyway to try it again. So I'll try to remember it before I walk into the door that time. I can start walking before... Okay, that's maybe not great. Maybe it doesn't actually matter that much. Because we also, like this, we also need to watch every single time. Because this is actually the thing that physically transports us to that next level. Was it also more responsive, actually? I think it was more responsive as well, wasn't it? I didn't actually pay attention. I think we didn't have that lag spike, maybe. It still doesn't get rid of the Fallen Knight UI, but... Like, at this point... Like, let's not worry too much about that. So yeah, whenever this finishes playing... So there we go. If I try to save my game... you can save it here. It still thinks that I'm in 08 boss. Why does it still think I'm in 08 boss? Oh, and that fucker still is alive as well. It never unloaded. Never unloaded. It never unloaded. It never unloaded. Does end play not trigger if it just naturally reaches the end of the sequence? Because that would be kind of like very dumb. Also really kind of like not great to unload this and then reload it. So this should definitely like unload at the very end here. What do we do? So last level... So I guess what we need to do is we actually don't need to set the next level. The only thing that we need to set is the last level. So if we just like pick that, put it in there, that kind of makes sense, right? So and after that we can unload the boss, which... Why didn't it do that? Why didn't it unload? Because it seems to have run this code. Just didn't do this. But it did unload it a moment ago with that other thing, so let's just do like be 100% civil, percent sure. Let's just add a print string in there, just to check. Honestly. I fucking forgot to set the bool again. Ah. Doesn't matter that much. There we go. At this point, that cutscene is actually, like both of these cutscenes, but also the first one, which is shorter, is longer than the actual, like, test fight itself. It's a JRPG now. In the fact that I have to rewatch the introductory, like, monologue from the main villain every time I die to him, like, 50 times over. Because that's exactly, like, experiencing that in my childhood is the reason that I put in the bull check to skip the boss introductory cutscene if you've died to him before. Because I hated that shit! Okay. It does not unload. It does not unload the 08 boss. Still does not allow me to walk through to the next level, either. Oh, but that might actually be in this case. Hold on, did I just not set up... There is a strong possibility that's nothing to do with what I thought it was, and that these doors just don't have level references yet. No, they do. But then, what the fuck? Oh, I know what's going wrong. Oh my god. Okay, so... I know what the issue is. These doors don't do anything themselves. These doors only call out a delegate when you enter them. And the Action RPG instance, whenever a new level is loaded, does a bunch of shit to like get all of the actors in the BP level door. But we can just say reset level doors, right? And then we can assign level doors to load. Yeah, so that's what it does. When a new level is loaded, it gets all the door actors sets them to a array in here, and then it assigns all of them to like subscribe to that delegate and run level 2 load whenever that delegate gets run. So I think if I just go in here, we have like somewhere in here we did the thing, right? I didn't even check whether or not this ran or not. I don't care. So we can just reset level doors as well. After all this has been loaded. That seems good to me, yeah. Matter of fact, do we don't have a cost to the game instance here. We do maybe. We have one a little earlier here as well. Just a little fucked doing that twice, but doesn't matter. I guess we can just do it in there. That's good. And that should fix up that issue. It still doesn't fix up the issue that it doesn't actually unload for whatever reason here. I guess we block on unload, see if that makes any difference. Kind of implies still that this doesn't run. We'll see. Yeah, it's very JRPG-ish to have to rewatch. I forgot it again! Okay, at this point, I'm kind of beyond caring. Let's see. There we go. It's gonna take like a good minute to get through this cutscene. And now let's actually pay attention whether or not we get a print string hello at any point after the cutscene itself finishes playing. Because we should. But I don't think we will, maybe. I'm trying not to get distracted by talking and getting like sidetracked in the middle of me checking this, which makes for riveting, interesting content, I'm aware, but we're also trying to like make a game here, right? Yeah, it doesn't run the end play script, so that's going to be an issue in that this still doesn't fucking work. Which makes sense. No, that actually does make sense, because we're trying to do that in this event, which never seems to run. And play reason. We have destroyed, level transition, and play an editor removed from the world or quits. On destroyed, on end play. Oh, end play is just the opposite of begin play. That's not a sequence specific thing. That's just what it does before it gets destroyed. That makes sense. So I guess what we do is, can we make this thing automatically destroy itself when it's finished? I can hide the player in the cinematic. That's actually kind of nice. It's a really, like, this is really weird. Like, Unreal event dispatcher sequence animation and oh no, never mind. Yeah, how do I trigger an event when an animation is done playing? It should be like something built in, right? You can create a function in time of blueprints. That is the most insane answer to that ever. Depends on a lot of things. How are you playing the animation? Is it a montage? Not necessarily talking about like a animation sequence like this. Animation blueprint sequence finished. Notify. How do I add animation? You can pause at end. Yeah, I know. Play animation. Maybe it is. Hold on a moment. Maybe it's not this, but it's a sequence player. Can I like assign? Yeah, assign on finished. That's what we need to do. You see, it seemed a little off that there wouldn't be a built-in way to do this. And sometimes when you think something is like wrong, it might just be like you misunderstanding something. It might not actually be the engine missing a feature, which is something that I sometimes have to tell myself. Well, that should now have fixed that issue, which I think fixes all the issues like altogether. But then how the fuck did that load? Oh no, because that loads in first in the sequence, so that actually checks out. Also, let's try to pay attention to whether or not we still have a lag spike when we land the final hit, because I think... No, it's still... I think it's still blocking. So, yeah, it probably still do. Then again, we probably can actually just, like, load in that other level. Yeah, we still kind of do. We can probably, like, asynchronously load it in either during the duration of this cutscene, but if that doesn't work, just whenever we enter this level to begin with, we can try to just load it async. And then by the time we kill the boss fight, it will have loaded in. The thing is, I'm trying to, like, create code here to work with something that is very much an exception in the game, and that is, like, dynamically through, like, these cutscenes, loading in and out these levels. Usually you just load them in and out through the doors themselves, right? It does print out the hello, so now if I go to save game, there's the moment of truth. Okay, that's not a good sign. Still not a good sign. It did unload the boss, though. It did unload the boss. So that's good. And it does actually load this in and then unload the central hub. So everything, can I load back into the central hub? I can. So everything works the way it should, except the fact that that fucking widget still doesn't want to leave. Which is the thing that we started this entire side journey because of. So we still need to fix that. And I don't know why it doesn't. Because it literally cannot run this event, which does things that we know that happen, without going through this node. Which should be removing it from relevance. Like, literally, at this point, the only thing that I can imagine is that something causes it to, like, lose the value. No, but it didn't even... Okay, I have a better idea. So what we'll do here first is we will print string, and we'll see whether or not this widget value even, like, has a value, or if it is going to just print null. We'll see. You know what? I finally remembered. We're going to disable that intro cutscene. Aren't you guys proud of me? I remember the thing. Here. Boss cutscene played. Flip that to true. Save game. Maybe save this in like a separate slot. Just to be sure. If I need to retest that boss cutscene again. Which is kind of nice. And now, when we... yeah, we saved. Now when we walk in here, there's no intro cutscene. Which has problems in and of itself. We'll take care of that later. We have un-JRPG'd myself. It is getting really frustrating to watch every single time because it's so bad. Like watching your own unfinished work, especially when you're not entirely sure whether or not finishing it is going to be an easy / possible task. Because it is, it's hard to do good animations. It's hard to do acceptable animations, actually. Okay, cool. So, wait! It's gone! What the fuck? How did that make a difference? I am... Oh, hold on. It never added it. It never added it, I think. Maybe. That might be the issue. I loaded the wrong save file. Which actually is good, because I have got 2 save files now to test this stuff with. So I don't think it ever added it here. It did. Okay, so... there it does remove it. So the only one that it doesn't remove is... oh, that makes sense. You know, that actually does make sense. Okay, so what the issue is because the other one is added through a cutscene, it is actually a different object. Like the one that we are trying to remove is the one that's getting added when there's no cutscene. Because that one just gets like added flat, no intro animation, no whatever. What? So that's the one we're trying to remove. I need to find a way to remove the thing I added through the cutscene, which is actually significantly more of a headache. So what I'm thinking... because we're adding one through the cutscene here somewhere, right? There's not the... there is a like director blueprint here somewhere. Maybe it's not open at the moment. When he stands up, like one of these events, I think it might be this one. Yeah, so we like create this boss health, and we set the values in it, which is also why it doesn't disappear when the player dies. So, we can work with that, kind of. We'll just add this event here instead. Which also means that we don't have to do like get actors of class anymore, because that is like, I don't know why I even did that, to be honest with you. We can just do all this. And plug in the boss ref here. I don't know, it's relevant, but we're going to put it in there as well. And then we have this... in programming, the 2 most popular questions is why is this not working and why does this work? Yeah. Yeah. Specifically, the last one is something that I question myself on quite a lot. What is it again? Is it like shift delete? Yeah, shift delete. That's, I need to get into a habit to do that more. It's it deletes a node, but like reconnects the nodes on both sides to each other again, which is kind of nice. So on enemy death event is when we remove it, but also on player death, right? But let's do on enemy death first because that's easier to set up, because that is just literally, where the hell is it? Oh, it's here. So we can, no, it's not this one. It's this one. No, it's not. It's this one. There we go. So we can assign on enemy death, on enemy defeat, sure, what the hell you like to call it. So we assign that, and all that we assign there is remove from parents. And while we're at it, we also then I guess get player character assign on the feed is something. We have a delegate set up for that. I just don't know what it's called. Hold on, we'll get there. Maybe. Do we have one set up for that actually? Oh, we might not. I thought we did. On player killed. Okay, so it's just called on player killed. Oh, we need to cast that first. Duh. Assign on wait, what? Stats component. I'm not even using that component anymore. This literally just exists to hold that delegate at this point, I believe. Anyway, that will also remove from parents. So I think that kind of fixes some issues that I've been pulling my hair out about for, like, again, well over half a year at this point. So let's try with this one now, where it adds it through the cutscene, because we know that it works when it's getting added through like the code directly. I want to know that it also removes it when it's added through the cutscene, because that's the only thing that's like actually relevant. Well, no, but that's the thing that is going wrong. The other thing just doesn't have an issue, so we don't need to test it. Holy hell, we've been live for 2.5 hours already, almost. Time flies when you're having, I don't know if I would say fun, but when you're having things to do. Yep, okay, don't do it. Don't fucking do it. Why not? Why not? Okay, I have a different idea. Instead of doing all this, which is a massive pain in the ass and a waste of my time, we'll just set these up inside the level blueprint itself. We can just do that. It's a little less neat. But what we can do is Okay, let's walk through this. We have has event happened, boss defeated. False. On enemy death. Yeah, sure. On level complete load, start boss fights. Has cutscene happened. Yeah, so we have this add health bar. Wait, add health bar. Oh, okay. That's just a function that we have. So on player killed. We also what the hell even on enemy defeated. Just literally do this again. Right, so we add that. There's night boss defeated. That's not the one we want. This is, yeah, this one. So assign on finished. And when this one finishes, we just also add health bar. Now everything happens within this same blueprint. There's no fuckery or anything. Should now just work either way. I still don't know why there's like framey bullshit happening every time I start up the game, but hey. I'm thinking it might not run its intro like animation, which would be a shame, but also like, yeah, no, that actually would be an issue. Because say not the end of the world, but for testing purposes, not. But that means that I'm going to have to like redo. Oh no, it does do that. Okay, that's cool. So let's see if it also removes it now when I murder it. It does. Okay, so that's fixed. Okay, so that effectively makes this boss fight function now. It pretty much just works. Which is good. The very last thing that I want to check out is if this save point is now also no longer fucky. Because, like, if I go down to, like, it says 08 boss still. So there's a different value that uses, clearly. Because now if I... Oh, that's gonna... It is probably going to either crash the engine or be problematic. Because I'm not going to try to load from a level that doesn't have a save point. Which usually is an issue. Yeah. Yes, it is. I just need to figure out what other value I'm missing that needs to be set as well. But that should be trivial to figure out as soon as this thing loads, that is. Which will take a second because, again, large projects. In the meantime, let me check my YouTube analytics on my phone. Nothing has happened since the last time I checked this, which was like 5 minutes ago. Well, more like 15 minutes ago, but we're just kind of going to sit here until that shit's loaded. So what do you guys think the meaning of life is? Aside from making video games. Peak content. Yeah, this is best content you've ever seen. Okay, So, yeah, let's reopen them. Making lots of babies. I would rather not. I mean, literally, you are right. That is like biologically the meaning of life. Keeping the species going. I just hate babies. Okay, so when I save, that's a thing that happens in the UI. I think that actually calls a function in the game instance itself, doesn't it? That's settings, save game, push widget, save menu. That makes sense. I have 7. You are insane. Seven babies or 7 cheeses? I hope 7 cheeses. That's that's worth a lot more than 7 babies. Because you can eat them. Well, I guess you can eat both, but I prefer if you didn't. Like, just eat the cheese, please. Okay, so here we have the save button somewhere, which runs save game and okay, so it sets the next level to save game as well. Okay, so what we need to do after all, I think it's an easy fix. To get away from eating babies, because that's definitely like not a good thing. I think what we need to do is open up this level blueprint again, which we're in the streaming level anyway for reasons. Whenever we set this shit, we do also need to set the next level, just also to the central hub. So we set next level. I don't know why it uses next level. It's kind of weird, isn't it? This entire system was programmed like a year ago, and I'm at this point just kind of too afraid to start dismantling it again. So because for the most part, we don't need to like manually interface with it. It just kind of works. Except when it... Oh, actually, we don't need to reload this twice. We just need to pull this off one more time. Except for when we start messing about with things outside of the system itself. At that point, I need to remind myself how it actually works. And how it works is barely. Oh, yeah, that doesn't work. But I think after this situation, we might never have to think about it again. Which is good. Because then we only have to worry about saving and loading things whenever I start making a new game. Which will be a while. Well, side projects not included, of course. You know what? The UV seams that you can see, like, on his gloves, they kind of bother me because I know that the UV seams. But they also look kind of like just, like, cool cracks. What the... Okay, that camera was a little weird. I think we need to, like, manually reset its camera angle when we go into this level or whatever. Just... go through all this. I don't think he's lined up all the way, actually. Oh, I don't know. Maybe next week we'll work a little bit on the cutscene itself. Or maybe we'll work a little bit on some like level design and code to clean things up. I don't know what we'll do, to be honest with you. Next week, however, I'm only going to be doing one stream. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so is he lined up properly? He's misaligned a little bit, so I need to look into that. We'll only be doing a stream on Tuesday next week, because on Thursday I have like other shit that I need to be doing. Central Hub. Okay, so now I can close out of this, load game, central hub, and that should work, right? It doesn't put me at the checkpoint. I don't know why. But I think it has something to do with the load level code. Getting all of these doors. And the doors don't have names for levels to load attached to them. So it just puts me at the first door that doesn't have, like, a level. I don't know why, but it does that. So when all of these have levels attached to them, I think it'll sort itself out and put me right here on the checkpoint. Well, to be honest, the checkpoint also is going to need to move because there's going to be like a repeat boss fight at some point against this guy when you've beaten everything. And it's going to be the exact same boss fight, I should point out. It's going to be 100% the same boss fight. The entire point of it is I just want to show you how much more like OP you've gotten since going through all these dungeons. And then it leads into like a final boss fight. Maybe a final dungeon before that, we'll see. But yeah, okay. So this all works now. That's all good. Neat. And we made some progress. We actually like did a remarkably large amount of stuff. It doesn't maybe seem like that big a deal. But we fixed up the AI, which was pretty easy, all things considered, to be honest. But also, we fixed those like issues, which I still have to see whether or not those issues are now fixed in a package build. Because a lot of these issues also didn't happen in a package build before, and only when I packaged it, other people were having this issue. So I have to see whether or not this is now actually resolved. But I feel like pretty confident that we resolved the HP bar issue, which is a pretty big deal. And we can also now actually play through the game, starting through the tutorial and ending at the like Reaper boss that we made. No showcase. I'm going to showcase the other game in a moment. Good they asked about it. Because I entirely forgot. Matter of fact, do I have I probably have like TCG like Tycoon? That's not it. I probably just have like the packaged game somewhere here. I just don't know where. Would it be in my game dev folder? Probably would be in my game dev folder. That would make sense. So it's probably not in there. Builds, action RPG. Yeah, no, it's not. Is it in Gitfork? TCG Tycoon? TCG Tycoon? No, this is only the Godot version. Then it might be in... where might it be? In Unreal? Wait a second. Unreal is in like documents, right? On the C drive. I think it's maybe not. I have a better idea to do this. Let's see. We can just open this. TCG. I can show this in folder. And we should have a builds folder in here. I'm going to close down this project because it's going to take up a bunch of my GPU power. And I think if I just go here, yep, that's the right folder. That should... So, there we go. This is the main menu. It loads in the textures and stuff just a little too slowly, so when you first open it up, it is blurry and stuff. I don't really care enough to fix that up. It's a little loud. Hold on. For you guys. For me, it's pretty good volume, but okay. We can start a new game. Takes a moment because it needs to like index a bunch of shit. And then we can start playing. So, Like we buy some cards. Now we're broke. Probably should have a mechanic where you like need to pay rent actually every so often. And we can start selling these things. So this sells for a value of 10. And you do need to manually close out of every single one of them, just because I couldn't get it to work properly otherwise. And this guy walks in, and he gets stuck on me because their AI still sucks. Oh, and WASD also doesn't work for walking. I forgot about that. This is a rare card, so we can sell for like 60. And of course now I'm selling everything for market value, but I can also sell them for like above market value, of course. This is 25. This probably also should be a little bit more readable, I'll be honest with you. So that's going to be less likely to sell when a customer comes in. And now this one is value is 20, but if I try to like sell it for 15, it's a damn near guaranteed sale. The Blu-ray looks a little bit like Octopath Traveler. I think that like this art style. Okay, so I said damn near instant buy. It is not actually an instant buy because it wasn't cheap enough. And you can see this now as a value of 29. So there's a little bit of like actual value fluctuation every like X amount of time. So let's try to sell this for 20. And this one for like 30. And then we wait for the next customer to come in. Did you make the characters? I made everything except for the music and the card art. That's both AI generated. But everything else, like the characters, I drew. All the tile sets, I made myself. Yeah, so the music and the cards are AI generated, but everything else is entirely me. The spawn rate for these guys is a little low. Again, nothing about this has really like been balanced or tested or whatever. But yeah, so now one of these guys walks back in. He decides I can go fuck myself, and he leaves. Yeah, I'm quite happy with the floor. The floor was a nightmare before. These tables still look ugly. The tables kind of just look like... Number one, the tiling is bad. And they look more like bricks than they do wood. But I didn't want them to be like the exact same texture as the floor. And again, I'm not exactly an artist, so... I kind of just like drew everything myself. What I am happy with though is, well, not the chest, but the computer here where you buy all the cards. I'm very happy with that sprite specifically. Like that looks really good in my opinion. Like at least for my standards. So yeah, definitely the spawn rate for NPCs should probably be a little bit higher than it is right now before I put it up on itch.io. And maybe every time I don't know, that creates some other... I was going to say maybe we do need to implement like a rent mechanic where you just have like a static amount of money that gets subtracted every X amount of time. Yeah, you see, and sometimes they do just like straight up get stuck. And there isn't that much that you can do about it. But if they get stuck for too long, they will eventually just give up and try to leave. And if they get stuck while trying to leave, they will eventually just cease to exist. The green light is act as having cards you are selling. No, the lights are corresponding to the rarity of the card in the display case. So we have... Oh, maybe he wants to buy it now? No, he just wants to leave. He's also really bad at navigating. There you see, he just ceased to exist. So we have like these rarities, so these are just normal. This is a green card. Like this one is a legendary rarity, so you can see it's valued higher as well. And when I change this, you can see that the color of the light also changes, and definitely need to sell this for like less or more, right? And now you can see that this also has like a purple light with it. Yeah, so the navigation is kind of fucked. Like more so even in this version than in engine. I don't know why. Oh, I actually seem to have sold a card at some point. Huh. Neat. I sold an expensive card at that. Okay, so now that we have sold a card, we have some money, so we can go back up here, and like this is the idea of the main gameplay loop. Again, more NPCs need to spawn in. We can buy some more cards. And if we have too many cards that we just want to offload, we can just dump them into here. Like all of these low value cards, I don't need those right now. But the longer they stay in here, like when a card is not being actively sold, the chance of when it changes prices that it goes up in price instead of down in price is higher. So if these cards just like collect dust in here, at some point they're going to be worth a pretty significant amount of money. So that's why you don't just throw them away. In theory, anyway. So you are inclined to immediately sell your highest value cards, but technically speaking, like keeping these ones, like the legendary tier cards, around a little longer is probably like in your benefit. Because they grow on a percentage basis, I think. Like plus or minus 10% every time like a price refresh happens. But if they haven't been sold in the last like 5 minutes, they are like 50% more likely or something off the top of my head to increase in price. And they're pretty much guaranteed to not decrease in price. Like, there's still a low percentage chance, I believe, but it's effectively like over a long enough period, they're going to be significantly increasing in price. So if you purposefully don't sell these, they're going to be increasing a lot more quickly. So that's the idea about like the balance of the game, which has not in any way been tested, like ever. Playable card game next using these cards in your deck. At some point, maybe it'll be fun to like make a TCG. But the thing is, if I'm gonna do that, it needs to be a multiplayer game, and I'm already working in the background on another multiplayer game that I think could be fun. And every time I open up Unreal and I start making something that's multiplayer, I am reminded that I don't like networking. It always messes with me. I never can get things right when it comes to like server client stuff. And I kind of just hate it. But I'm going to force myself through it and make the project I'm working on right now work. And when that is done, I feel like that might be my first like Steam game, which would be cool. But for right now, I had everything, like the basic rule set for most things for that game working when it wasn't replicated. Then I added like server client stuff because I needed to start like worrying about turn-based things. So I need to actually test it with 2 players, and everything just fell the fuck apart. So I don't know. I need to like do a lot of work on that. But replication absolutely sucks, and the navigation for these fuckers also sucks. Again, the point for this project was more so just to test out Unreal's 2D development tools and not to make a functional game, because I definitely did not do that. And it seems like they are a little too unlikely to just like buy certain cards, I would argue. I think when they are in the like proper price range, they're like at a 50% chance to buy them. That should probably be like a 75% chance. Something like that. It hasn't actually gone up or down in value that much. That's interesting. Anyway, so that is this game. We also have a save functionality, which just like works. We can go back to menu. Takes a moment, and then when we load game, it gives a fatal error. So that doesn't work. Never fucking mind. I don't care. In theory, it's playable, playable game more advanced than Pong. I suppose it is, in some ways. It Pong wasn't made with an engine. I should point out, but you probably you know that. You know that. Anyway, so that's that game. I might do a little bit more polishing on it, because the fatal error when loading a game is kind of a problem. And the character navigation being so fucked. I don't know. I'll probably put it up on itch.io just to be able to say it is up on itch.io when I make a video about it. But it's dysfunctional at best. Anyway, that's been it for now. This was a fun project though. So next Tuesday we'll be back doing, I don't know what. We'll be doing fucking something, I'm sure. Don't have any idea what yet. Maybe animation, maybe some coding. We'll probably just do an entire playthrough and see what we run into. I think that will probably be a good way to go about doing it. And then we'll work on whatever we run into. And then on Thursday next week, I won't have a stream because I am otherwise occupied on Thursday. Sadly. Streaming has been a little bit of a mess over the last couple of weeks. Between the bad internet, me getting sick, and then me having like an appointment next week. But I think after that, we should be back to like normal stuff. Also, beef jerky. I'm going to check out how it's going. It's been like drying out behind me for the last 3 hours now, so it's probably like pretty near done. Love to see a 2D paper character animation tutorial. I don't know if I really have like done enough to make a worthwhile tutorial, but I'll put it on the list. Fair warning, the list is fairly long of videos that are either in the works, I have planned, or already done and waiting to be published. Like it's at least a month of video buffer that I already have at the moment. And then I have like another month worth of ideas, and then some other things that are like in the works. So yeah, I pretty much like have most of this summer planned out as far as videos go. Anyway, it's been a good one. Inventory is finished. The inventory series, that's a complicated question. I was going to end there, but that's a complicated question. The inventory series itself is finished. As in, by the end of it, you'll have a functioning inventory. I made the Patreon and member exclusive video public and added it to the playlist. Be aware, if you're following the inventory series and you're following like the full course upload, that doesn't include the bonus video for Patreon and YouTube members. It is in the full playlist now, though. The reason that I made that public is because I'm going to be continuing that after the Niagara Particle series is done. I've already recorded and edited all those videos. I think the Niagara series is like 12 parts long. So that's going to be uploading with a cadence of 2 uploads a week. So that's going to be like 6 weeks of uploads. After that, we're going to get back to the inventory and do a couple of more like questions that have been asked. Things like item metadata, adding a hotbar. There's a couple of things that I noted down to make for that. Let's see, I kind of have them all scheduled in my planner already. Let me check. So yeah, I have item subclasses. I alluded to that in the inventory series itself. Never actually ended up implementing anything like that, so it's probably good to make a video showing that. Then a query inventory, where you can just like give in an item and see whether or not the player has that item, which is like very good if you're making like a questing system, right? If you have a certain item that a NPC is looking out for, you need to be able to query the inventory, which is a pretty simple function, but I think it merits its own video. Then making a hotbar. A hotbar is effectively just a second inventory component, but people have asked about it. Then equipment slots as well, so that will be another inventory component, but it's inventory slots. It might not be an inventory component. I don't know how I'm going to work with it yet. It probably will be a separate inventory component, but it's which has It might actually be a component in and of itself. We'll see how it works, okay? I don't know yet. But it will have slots that only take in specific item subclasses. So the helmet slot will only take in item, armor, helmet. The chest plate will only take in item, armor, chest plate, and so on and so forth. And then a video about item metadata as well. So that's what I have planned for like inventory part 2 at the moment. I might expand on that a little bit more. If there's any more questions that people are like, hey, how would I go about doing this? Following up on the inventory series. But that's like 6 more videos that are like planned to be added on top of that. Which will just be added into the inventory playlist itself. Again, there will be a separate like full course upload for those like 6 parts. I'll probably throw in the Patreon YouTube member bonus video at the start of that, so that'll be like 7 videos. Actually, there's only 5 videos. I'm miscounting. So that'll be on 6 videos. Yeah, get that point. Crafting system, maybe. That could actually be interesting. I'll need to think about how I would implement that. Well, that could be interesting, putting in a crafting system. I'd probably do something like, assuming we have like a Minecraft type system, right? There's 2 ways to do a crafting system. There's like the survival game crafting system, which effectively just like says, hey, if you want to make like a pickaxe, very good pickaxe, like yay, pickaxe, right? If you want to make a pickaxe, you need like 2 wood and like 3, that's a very bad 3, like 3 iron. The simplest way to do that is to just say, hey, take these items, just like make an array of these items, just say wood, wood, iron, 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 and go through all of them and query the inventory for them. Or specific, what you could probably do a little bit better is just like query for wood and then check the amount of wood that you have. Is that 2? If so, we like check a bool. Now we move on to querying for the iron. Those are 3 of them. Yes. If so, remove both of those, add 1 pickaxe. That's the easiest way to probably implement a crafting system, which is quite straightforward and quite easy. If we have like a Minecraft crafting system, that is a thing that kind of throwing me for a loop how I would like efficiently do that. Because here we would have like a inventory component, again, in and of itself. And anytime we add anything to that inventory component, we would need to like have a delegate that fires and runs a function that effectively just loops through the inventory component and compares it, like the array of the inventory component, and compares it to every possible item recipe, like in a data table or something like that. But it feels like that's going to lag the ever-living hell out of your game if you have more than like 50 crafting recipes. So I don't know if this is necessarily like a good solution to it. But I feel like if we make a crafting system, we probably like want to cover both versions of it, I think. Because both of these are fairly common. Specifically, like this is fairly common because it's just easier to implement. But people like know Minecraft. It's literally the biggest game in the world, right? So if you say crafting, people probably also kind of think about this a lot, I feel. So if I want to like do them, I probably like want to do them both. It's a good idea to do those. So I probably like add in crafting and then like Minecraft type crafting or whatever I'll end up calling it. And hope that Microsoft doesn't sue me into oblivion. But I do think I'll just need to test out beforehand whether or not this scales well with a lot of different recipes or not. Because I feel like it doesn't. And now that I think about it in a data table, well, you can... Data tables aren't really meant to like iterate over. So I don't know how that will perform. But yeah, that just needs a little bit of testing. But that is actually a good idea. I do my crafting system with a structs containing ingredient names for each item. I mean, that effectively is, that still has like the same thing where you need to check against every single potential. Like if you're doing this type of crafting system, there's a lot of arrows pointing at this point. If you're doing this type of crafting system, that still like runs into the fact that you need to iterate over every single possible crafting recipe until you find the one you have, or you figure out, hey, this is not a valid crafting recipe. And that's not even to begin talking about shapeless crafting recipes. Oh, that's my jerky, I think. It's probably done. So like there's a lot going on here. And it's like not the fact that like these, like what's happening in here that is expensive. Everything in here is just checking one pointer, like one pointer against like another pointer, which is effectively just comparing two integers to each other. That's fairly cheap. It's just like doing that 9 times per craft, and then potentially like iterating over that 100, 200 times. That's the thing that kind of worries me to do. But maybe I'm worried for no good reason. Yeah, I feel like Minecraft's crafting system in general is just like a hell of code. But that's also kind of the reason I'm like, if I'm going to do a crafting system, I need to figure out a way to replicate that. Because I feel like that's something that people will want to know, but I haven't quite figured it out yet. I'll need to play around with it a little bit, which I will do probably like over the next month or so, because that's the next thing up on my recording list, is starting the recording for the inventory series, and I kind of want to have like everything in place before I start recording, because with the initial inventory series, what I did was I had a pretty good like outline of what I wanted to do in my mind, but I hadn't actually like made the entire thing by the time I started recording it. So after I got about like 70% the way through, I started running into issues that I hadn't quite foreseen, which made some of those videos a little bit messy, in my opinion, such as the fact that I thought using the drag drop system that Unreal provides you would have been like a good idea and like a good way to like, on like an educational level, to show that the system exists in Unreal and what you can do with it, but it actually ended up like being really shit for what I wanted to use it for, because it created so many edge cases and weird code, and the eventual like fix that I made for that to like replace the dragging system with effectively my own new implementation of it that just used clicking, made a lot of the other code also more straightforward and more readable and easier to understand. So that was kind of just a mistake to use a drag and drop system. And had I gone through the entire thing before starting to record, instead of just having a rough outline, I probably just wouldn't have used a drag drop system. It's still a cool system. It's still good to using your UIs for other stuff, and just not for this. Yeah, I don't know like how the like, what is it called, like the big O notation for that like search algorithm would be, but it is 9. Well, it's not 9 times 9, right? It's just, well, yeah, no, because you need to check against every other one. I don't know if you would do it that way. The way I'm thinking is that you would just compare the entire array against entire other arrays, right? So you have just like a block of memory that has like effectively 9 pointers in it, some of which might be, well, I guess under the hood it then compares every one of them individually as well. But if you compare like an entire array against an entire other array, it can just check the entire block of memory against this entire block of memory. And doesn't need to do like every check individually, which probably like on this scale saves you like a couple of like compute cycles. Because But effectively, it's still the same. And again, it's just like 9 pointers, which is like, how much is a pointer variable? Like 4 bytes? 8 bytes? I think it might be 8 bytes. Let's say it's 8 bytes, right? So that is 9 times 8 bytes, 72 bytes. It needs to compare. It's not that much. So I'm probably worrying about nothing. I'm probably worrying for no good reason. Anyway, that's an entire side tangent. Now I'm actually going to go because my beef jerky just like started beeping at me, and I want to see whether or not I need to like dry it for longer because there were some pieces that were rather thick. I'll be back later, and thank you all for joining in and hanging out and talking and having fun. See ya.